Bonus Module 1.1 Sire Tool. Welcome to Bonus Module 1.1 of your Proform Professional Training course. Analysing sires is a useful and underrated tool when handicapping a race. The Sire tool in Proform will allow you to quickly analyse the sires of horses running in the race you are viewing from thousands of angles and see the returns to the same values you see in our system builder. Some of the uses for the Sire tool could be sire stats over specific distances, on varying going descriptions, for horses making their debut, in national and flat races. There are many more uses for the Sire tool than the four mentioned above, but in this training module we'll just take a look at some of those. We have Proform open and we're on the calendar screen, and what we'll do is use the quick highlighter to just highlight the maiden races that are on today, and we'll look at this 1 mile 4 furlong maiden for 3 and 4 year old fillies. So we double click the race and drop the race into the data view, and we'll just hide the buttons down the left so we've got more room on the screen. And we have the race card open for this maiden race, and we have all the usual tabs with the added one of Sire Stats. If we select the Sire Stats tab, you can see there are various filters we can use, but the first thing you might want to do is move the tab down to the bottom using these arrows in the middle. This way you can see the race card and the Sire Stats on the screen at the same time. And if we size the screen slightly, we can fit more of the Sire Stats at the bottom. So this race is a 1 mile 4 furlong maiden, so we might want to initially just analyse turf and all weather races over distances of 12 furlongs or more, and click apply, and this will show us how the sires of these runners are performed over 12 furlongs or more in turf or all weather races. And you can see what's returned is the horse in the race above and its sire, and then the statistics for 12 furlong plus races on turf and all weather. I currently have it ordered by A index, and these are the same returns that you see on the system builder, and we have more of the fields further along. So we can see the best performing sire from the filters that we chose is Dylan Thomas, with a 17% strike rate and an A index of 1.17 in comparison to the others being slightly lower. So while we're on this screen, you might want to also add in just maiden races. So we're now looking for just maiden races over 12 furlongs plus on the turf and all weather. Click apply, and the sire stats have refreshed and the order that we've chosen is kept. So we can see we have Galileo and Dylan Thomas now on 1.12 and the rest from 0.99 downwards. If we reset the filters, which sets them all back to the defaults, and just click apply, this would just give you the overall sire stats for all the sires in this race. So we can see Hurricane Run has had 1,015 runners since the Proform database started and 129 winners for a 12% strike rate. We might want to do the sire analysis by going. Today's going is good to firm, so if we deselect all the actual goings and just choose good to firm and just turf races and click apply, we can see the sire stats for good to firm ground, and Ravens Pass is 6 from 16 on good to firm, with Sadaqua being the horse out of Ravens Pass that's running today. Another angle to look at is maybe how sires perform on debut. Sadaqua, this is its first ever run, so if we reset the parameters on the day since last run tab, you can set that to 0 and 0 to show debut runners. And you can see down at the bottom of the screen on the status bar, it shows you what you can enter into this parameter. And this changes as you move your cursor over each of the fields. So we've got the day since last run set to 0 to 0 to produce debut runners. We'll just look for debut on the flat and apply, and we can see how Raven's passes have done, and they've had 7 from 45 with an AE of 1.21. Another angle we could look at in this particular race would be to reset and just look at today's course, which is Epsom, which is quite a sharp, undulating and unique course. So if we tick just for today's course only and click apply, we get the Sire's record at Epsom. If we go back to the calendar and re-highlight all races, we have a national flat race at Perth. So if we open that race up, and we can see there's plenty of runners making their debut. We reset the stats again and choose debut in national flat races. We can see which of the Sires have the best record under them circumstances. And Mike McCann out of Eliseo has the best record with 5 wins from 43 runs when making their debut in a national flat race. And today Mike McCann is making its debut. We could just reset the filters and just look at the full stats for national flat races for Sires. So we just choose national flat, click apply, and we have Winglove at the top with Nearly May, which has the best overall record in national flat races, based on AE index, which is what I have it sorted by. We could restrict to national flat races at today's course, and in this case we don't get much of a sample size, but we could restrict to all jumps races at today's course, and we can see Red Ransom has a record of 2 from 10, Definite Article 10 from 47, etc. We could take out the course option, leaving just jumps races, and choose today's going. So we're looking at good to firm Sire stats over the jumps. And we have Byron top, but with a very small sample size. Once we get down to the bigger sample sizes, Nearly May has got the best record, which is 1.1 from an expected winners of 10.93. So that's a quick whiz through all the various options you could do with the Sire tool. What you can also do is hide the fields like normal and resize the columns, so you can get rid of a lot of these fields if you don't want them. So you just have down the basics for what you want to see. If you find a Sire stat that's particularly useful, so for instance if we go back to doing national flat debut and apply that, and we'd like to keep this Eliseo stat, then we could put this into the system builder. And I'll show you how to do this. If we open the system builder, go to the Horse tab, the Sire we're looking at is Eliseo. In the system builder, to get debut runs, we enter debut in the day since last run field, and we were just looking at national flat races, so that's all we choose in the race tab. If we run the system, we're returned with the same parameters, 5 from 43, and the one qualifier today is Mike McCann, and that's the same parameters we had in here, 5 from 43, an AE of 1.33. We could then save this system and call it Eliseo debut in national flat races. Save this system, and then on the welcome screen, anytime there's a qualifier from Eliseo that's debuting in a national flat race, will be notified on the welcome screen. So as you're using the Sire tool, when you're analysing various races, anything you want to save, flip over to the system builder, and you'll soon build up a lot of saved systems that are good statistics for sires. Well, that's the end of bonus module 1.1, and the Sire tool will allow you to find many angles into a race that you're viewing, and you can then use those to save into the system builder for angles for future use.